Test it.
That's all we want is compliance. Well, that too. But it's part of the compliance.
Please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome all of you here and those that are online. Mr. Hersey, thank you for being here, sir. Our treasurer. Roll call.
Rosenberg.
Present.
Mallard. Here. Albrecht.
Here.
Blatz.
Here.
Carney.
Here.
Foney.
Here.
Roach.
Here.
Small here.
Here.
Hudson.
Here.
Blackburn.
Here.
Horse.
Here.
Campbell.
Here.
Parchman.
Here.
Van Hook.
Here.
Thank you. You've all received copies of the minutes from our previous meeting on December 16th. Do I have a motion for approval?
So move.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any questions or comments on the minutes? Hearing and seeing none. All in favor of approval, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. Okay. There is no public hearing tonight. There is no city presentations. So at this point, I'll open it up for the first of two opportunities for people to make public comments to the council. We would ask you to please do so in proper business decorum, since this is a business meeting. And we'd also ask you to please identify yourself either by name and by ward that you live in, or if you're representing a company, by name and the company that you're representing. And please limit your comments to no more than 5 minutes. And if there's some questions that come up that I can answer, I will do so after the second opportunity for people to speak. So with that said, is there anybody that has any comments they'd like to make to the council?
Good evening. Doug Gaines from Ward 5. Mr. Mayor, council members, fellow residents, I stand before you this evening as a defender of our fundamental rights and liberties to voice my opposition to our city's occupancy inspection permit program and their proposal to increase the associated fees. Firstly, let's address the constitutional implications of this program. The Fourth Amendment of the Constitution of the United States protects us against unreasonable searches and seizures. This program, by necessitating inspections for occupancy, effectively allows city officials to enter our private residence to inspect everything from smoke detectors to egress windows without a specific warrant. This mandatory inspection, even if it is for safety, can be seen as an infringement on our right to privacy and security in our own homes. The Supreme Court has set a precedent in cases like Camara versus Municipal Court in 1967, which established that the administrative searches like health and safety inspections require a warrant unless there's consent or an emergency. This case directly relates to the issue of mandatory inspections. Show us, where have we the people consented to this program? Where's the emergency? You have provided no facts or data substantiating the utility of this program. It appears to be more about raising revenue and control versus safety. This program is unconstitutional. Why should we allow public servants in our homes turning the sanctity of our private spaces into public domains for inspection? The program's justification rests on maintaining minimum health, safety, and life standards, yet there's no evidence provided by the city that these inspections have significantly improved safety outcomes over the past decade since its inception in 1991. If the goal is safety, then why not focus on education, voluntary safety checks, or incentive for compliance rather than compulsory invasive inspections? Moreover, this program can be seen as a government overreach into our personal property rights. It dictates terms under which we can live or sell our properties, which should be our personal decisions, not subject to the bureaucratic control unless there's a clear, immediate public safety issue. The program does not differentiate between properties that are generally at risk or those that are well maintained. Applying a one-size-fits-all approach feels more punitive than preventative, more about money than safety. Today, it's smoke detectors and GFCI outlets. Tomorrow, what else might the government decide to inspect under the guise of public good? It's a slippery slope, and we the people do not consent. Now let's talk about the proposed fee increase from $50 to $75. While it might seem like a small in the grand scheme of city finances, this places additional burden on residents, especially during times of economic strain. For many of us, this money we could use for families or just simply to get by. Raising taxes and fees in the current economic conditions indicates our public servants are tone deaf to the plight of citizens. We must question the fee increase, the fee hike. If the city wants to avoid $120,000 in expenditures and cost overruns, then stop this unconstitutional, unlawful program. Again, we the people do not consent. Instead of this intrusive program, I propose voluntary inspections. Offer residents the choice to participate in safety checks with benefits like reduced insurance rates or property tax incentives for compliance. Community education. Invest in programs that educate homeowners on safety standards, empowering them to manage their own properties responsibly. Targeted inspections. Limit inspections to properties with known issues, complaints, rather than a blanket policy. In conclusion, we must stand up for our right to privacy and property. This program, with its compulsory nature and the proposed fee increase, does not serve citizens well. Consider this. Every time we pay this fee, we're not just paying for an inspection, we're paying for the erosion of our privacy, our rights, and our autonomy. Every dollar we give to this program is a dollar less in our fight for freedom. I urge all citizens to join me in opposing this program. Demand a review of the constitutional legitimacy. Call for a more respectful, less invasive approach to community safety, quote unquote. We the people must ensure our city's policies align with constitutional rights. Let's protect our homes, our rights, and our wallets from unwarranted government intrusion. Thank you for your time, and God bless.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else have any comments? Yes, sir.
I haven't said a word yet, and you've already counted me down, so. I was gonna staple my stuff together tonight, but Vern Moore, Ward 3. I was gonna staple my stuff together. I got it all here in the notes, but my Lord in heaven, the amount of money in warrant 551 of $7,248,000 and change. It just mind boggles me, the amount of funds that are being paid out. Where do I start at? Highlighting. Well, it's so endless to go through, but a few of the points I were interested in was how much money we're paying to FGMA for architectural fees, another $13,000, and to Holland for payments for part phase 1 and part phase 2, $1,342,437 and no change. Other points of interest, you got what you have to pay for electric and water and that, different plumbing issues, Millennium Professional Service, you paid another $17,489.50. I could go on and on and on, but in the past week, I did a FOIL request in regards to the amount of money that was spent by the city here over the past year for Howland Construction, Millennium Professional Services, and FGA Architecture. I sat down with my pen, little calculator and whatever, and took the 3 sheets that, or the 7 sheets that I was provided by Misty on my FOIL request, and sat down and did some ciphering and figuring. And as far as I can determine, Millennium Professional Services, I come right out on the same number, $13,129. On the FGMA Architecture, I was only difference of $989. Well, that's like pocket change. But on the Howland bill, with the numbers I was provided, and I would be more than like to, would like to go over with the people here the difference I got from the $7,591,000 and change, and the number I come in. I'm not going to tell you that because I want to see them calculate their 7 pages that they gave me. We'll go page by page and see if my numbers coordinate with what they come up with. I would really entertain to have a meeting for that. I don't have enough time to go into where the papers are at. That is going to come up in the next time I have to talk. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else have any comments they'd like to make to the council?
Still had a minute left. It hasn't dinged yet. Thank you.
Anyone else have any comments they'd like to make? Hearing none, we will move on. I will move on into the mayor's report. We will have a town hall meeting on the 22nd. That is tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Our Director of Finance will go over a little bit on the audit that we just had completed from the last fiscal year. And we'll tell you a little bit about the plans and how we're proceeding with the fiscal year budget for the upcoming fiscal year. And our Director of Public Works will go over some of the projects that he's looking at for next year. They're not all finalized at this point because we haven't completed a budget. And also a little bit of a rundown on what transpired with the snow removal and everything. And when touching upon that, I would just like to compliment Jeff and the staff for the work that they did going round the clock on several days out there. And I had 3 comments, 1 from a citizen and 2 from non-citizens who called me, who happened to have been going through our community and a few other communities and were very complimentary of the efforts put forth by our Public Works. And then in addition to that, they also were out for 2 nights, called out because of 2 water line breaks that they took care of, and did a quick job on taking care of those and getting the water back up and running. So Jeff, thank you, and thank you for your staff for the work and the effort they put into it. We also have with us tonight our new Director of Community Development. We had over 50 some applicants come in. Grant, correct me if I'm wrong, but we probably did about 12 either online or in-person interviews, and some we did both with. And our new gentleman, if he would please stand up, Greg Anderson. Greg is not a new face to our city. Greg was with us for about 3 years, had the opportunity to go north as an assistant city manager, took that position, held that, and was covering economic development, community development there as well, and then had some illnesses for his family, returned back to the community, has recently been in Swansea and covering some of those same activities, and we welcome him aboard. We know the kind of work that he performed for us when he was here previously, and we know he'll do a good job for us, so welcome. Also, you know, when you have things that occur like we've seen around the country over the past few months with the hurricanes in Florida, the hurricanes that went up through North Carolina, the fires out in California, it gets you to wondering, well, how well is O'Fallon prepared? We have emergency plans, but I have asked those that are heavily involved, those departments that are heavily involved, to please take a look at those. Let's update them. Let's make any additions that we need to make to them that we've come up with, that things that have come up since we last reviewed the plan. And we will be covering that at our next fifth Monday. That'll be on March 31st. And I will then cover it also at a town hall meeting in April, so that you can get an understanding of the plans that are in place, who is impacted, who does what with these plans, so that people have a little bit of a comfort that the city is prepared as well as you can be in case of an emergency would occur in our community. So just wanted to let everybody know about that. With that said, I will move into resolutions. Mr. Albrecht, 7.1, please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I propose we pass a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with Maids My Way for professional cleaning services.
And we had multiple bids on that project as well.
Yeah, we had a number of bids. This is for all city facilities.
We have a motion, we have a second. Is there any discussion? Yes, sir.
A little one. It says list of committees that have reviewed Parks Department. It should say Parks and Environmental Committee.
Very good, as noted. Anything else? Hearing none, roll call.
Mylord.
Yes.
Albrecht.
Yes.
Lutz.
Yes.
Carney.
Yes.
Boney.
Yes.
Roach.
Yes.
Smallhair.
Yes.
Hudson.
Yes.
Blackburn.
Yes.
Vorse.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Parchman.
Yes.
Van Hook.
Yes.
Rosenberg.
Affirmative.
Thank you. Mr. Vorse, 7.2, please.
Yes, sir. I'd like to recommend a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a 5-year contract with the ESO for EMS patient care reporting software.
Second?
We have a motion, we have a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, roll call.
Albrecht.
Yes.
Lutz.
Yes.
Carney.
Yes.
Boney.
Yes.
Roach.
Yes.
Smallhair.
Yes.
Hudson.
Yes.
Blackburn.
Yes.
Vorse.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Parchman.
Yes.
Van Hook.
Yes.
Rosenberg.
Affirmative.
Mallard.
Yes.
Thank you. We'll move to ordinances for first reading. Mr. Campbell, 8.1, please.
Thank you. Make a motion to approve on first reading an ordinance amending Title 15, Chapter 158, Section 227, occupancy fees.
We
Second.
have a motion, we have a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, roll call.
Lutz.
Yes.
Carney.
Yes.
Boney.
Yes.
Roach.
Yes.
Smallhair.
Yes.
Hudson.
Yes.
Blackburn.
Yes.
Vorse.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Parchman.
Yes.
Van Hook.
Yes.
Rosenberg.
Affirmative.
Mallard.
No.
Albrecht.
Yes.
Okay, we will move on to ordinances for second reading. Mr. Campbell, 9.1, please.
Make a motion to approve on on second reading an ordinance amending ordinance 623 zoning, development known as Ridgeline Motorsports, located at 129 Auto Court.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Is there any discussion on that item? Hearing and seeing none, roll call.
Carney.
Yes.
Foney.
Yes.
Roach.
Yes.
Smallhair.
Yes.
Hudson.
Yes.
Blackburn.
Yes.
Morse.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Parchman.
Yes.
Van Hook.
Yes.
Rosenberg.
Affirmative.
Mallard.
Yes.
Albrecht.
Yes.
Glatz.
Yes.
Thank you. At this point, we will open it up again for anybody that has any additional comments that they would like to make to the council. Yes, sir.
Vern Ware again, back Ward number 3. In reference to a week ago, I was talking about the information on the pavers that were out at the cemetery. The original contract for that was $25,335. They reduced it down to $12,667.50. And they just did the north and south portion of where Jesus was out there. Step forth a couple of 3 years, and they decided to pave it with concrete on the front portion, which they did, 6 foot wide, but then they took all the pavers and put them somewhere. Where they put them at was they made a pile on the north side of where they have their boneyard out there in the back, and they just left them there. Preceding the time goes on, I was actually talking to some city workers, and they said, you know, we got those out there, and you know, it might be a great idea. We don't have to give them away, but maybe we could use them over there on First Street, like in those islands between Cherry and Vine, where there's some grass growing, and we could check and change those over and put those pavers in there. And I go, hey, that's a great idea, you know. Well, lo and behold, I went back out, you know, a couple months later and checked on the pavers and where they were. And guess where they were, team? You check in and pushed them down in the creek line down there, all of that. And if that's right, that's not exactly $12,000, but take half of it. That's at least $6,000 worth of pavers you just shoved down in the creek. $6,000. You got $6,000 and you throw it at me so I can throw it in the creek? That's ridiculous. Now, back to my other points that you're going to have the city meeting as a whole again. I still have not had any results. Even one older person said that he would give me information on regards to what was taking place at the meetings. I haven't heard any paperwork back on that. And we're still looking at the $14,063.42 that was spent to go to this IML conference, and I haven't heard a word from any alderman, any of them, of what they accomplished in this meeting. And I know the mayor will say, well, we go up there for advice and courage and everything else, getting new ideas and everything. Okay, bring back your ideas and let's see what they are and why we spent this $14,063.42, and you failed to even bring it up in your meeting as a whole where they can sit up there and tell me what they accomplished. I haven't heard squat. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else have any comments? Okay. Before we move on into our reports, I would just want to mention that our fire department, as part of the award that they received from the state fire marshal, was because of the educational programs that they do throughout the city and helping people with different programs within their community, within their city. For example, you mentioned fire extinguishers, helping put up fire extinguishers for people and so forth. So there is an educational process that the city does help with. When it comes to your question about wanting to compare your analysis and where we're at with it, please come on in. I'm sure that Sandy or a member of her staff would be more than happy to go over that, and so you can compare dollar for dollar with that. We're not trying to hide anything. Matter of fact, with our budget process that we're going through, we're trying to look at what we're going to do to not raise taxes and make up about $2.4 million, if I'm correct, Sandy, in lost revenue from a car dealership that has moved out of the city, and also some new governmental regulations that are putting into place or will be going into place that will impact us to the tune of about 2.4. So that is what one of the big things that we're looking at within our budget, so that we can hopefully try to work through that, keep the services set up, meet the compliance issues from the state government on these issues, and do so with little or no impact on taxes. So that's some of the things that I know our finance director and our department heads are looking at. With that said, I will move into reports. Community and Development, Mr. Campbell.
Thank you, sir. The Community Development Committee met January 13th. That was last Monday, or Monday before last. The minutes are attached from that meeting. We had a couple of items brought forward for city council action. Those have been taken care of. Our next meeting will be next Monday at 6 o'clock. Keep an eye on the website for details.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Rosenberg.
Thank you, sir. The Public Works Committee has not met since the last city council meeting. Our next meeting is scheduled for next Monday at 7 p.m., but check the website in case the time changes.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Vorst, Public Safety.
Yes, the Public Safety Committee met on January 13th. The minutes are attached, and we took care of the business that was brought to council. The next meeting is scheduled for February 10th. Check the website for details.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Albrecht, Parks and Environment.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, the Parks and Environment Committee met on January 13th. We had one item that required council action. That was number 7.1, which we did already. Next meeting will be February 10th.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Parchman, Finance and Administration.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have not met since the last meeting. Our next meeting is going to be next Monday, the 27th, at 5:30, unless there's no changes. But if there are, check the website for that. We have no actions on the agenda today, but we do have 15.1 under our reports here. So if we could approve the warrant, I'd like to make a motion to approve warrant number 551 in the amount of $7,248,756.65.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Is there any discussion on the warrant? Hearing and seeing none. Roll call.
Foney,
Yes.
Roach,
Yes.
Smallhair,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Blackburn,
Yes.
Vorse.
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Parchman,
Yes.
Van Hook,
Yes.
Rosenberg,
Affirmative.
Mylard,
Yes.
Albrecht,
Yes.
Latz,
Yes.
Carney.
Yes.
Thank you. Those were the last items to be brought forth in tonight's meeting. So unless there's something else to be said, I would look for a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
We have a motion. We have a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. We stand adjourned. Thank you.